This was a dream of the future. He awakes to present day. Tarnished is here in the lands between, but they are not yet, Lord. They have defeated Morgott's false pretender Morgott, Renala of Full Mood, Godric the Golden, and variants of other mentionable characters. Tarnished has just made his way to Altus Plateau, but he has yet to find Lindel. Just maybe, Morgott has a chance to change the fated future.
Sitting atop his lonely throne in the forsaken, dilapidated Lendel royal capital, Morgott awaits news of the Tarnished's arrival. His tail is curled over one side of the throne, and he absently fidgets with the golden crown resting on that side as well, spinning it around on his fingers. He is troubled, uncharacteristically nervous, unable to focus on much of anything other than waiting for the Tarnished to arrive. Morgott's one good eye narrows at the vision of the Tarnished before him. Despite only being a projection, the Omen King finds himself frozen in place, unable to look away from them. He feels almost compelled to speak to them, a familiar draw in their figure and in their actions that calls to him.
It is a very simple creature.
Morgott is somewhat surprised at the Tarnished greeting him so politely, having expected them to come to Lindel with anger and retribution on their mind. Seeing them be almost polite towards him is a strange and welcome shock. Ah, greetings. His eye narrows further, observing the Tarnished with suspicion. He straightens up on his throne, crossing one leg over the other. And pray tell, what purpose brings thee to the forsaken capital, Tarnished? I see a projection then. An illusion. Morgott looks the illusion up and down. They look so real it's uncanny. For a moment he wonders if they're really a part of his imagination, but he swiftly dismisses the thought. He can feel their presence. What business then does thy projection have within the ruined capital? Godric. A cowardly craven, that one. A foolish, arrogant weakling. He sighs, shifting in his seat a little as he looks down at the Tarnished. And Renala the Full Moon? Why would thou spare their lives? They both fought against thee, sought to defeat thee. What reason could thou have to spare them both? Morgott's eye widens when the Tarnished says this. He doesn't want to become Elden Lord. He doesn't have the interest in it. What? He's silent for a long moment, looking them up and down. He doesn't understand their motivations, their end goal. Why bother with all this if you're not intending to be Lord in the end? What exactly is it that thou do want, then? What is thy purpose? Why do I fight? The thought is almost laughable to him. Of course he fights. That's all he has ever been able to do. It's his nature. It's what he was born to do. It's what he's made to do. He doesn't have to think about his response. It pours out of him like an avalanche. I fight for my people, for the Golden Order, for the greater will. He looks them up and down, his eye narrowed again. Why do thou wish to be Lord?
I don't wish to be Lord.
He blinks heavily at that. He was expecting them to say anything but that. He was expecting the answer all Tarnished he's faced give a hunger for power. A desperate, grasping, greedy hunger for power. But you don't desire lordship. Why thou dost not wish to become Lord? He repeats slowly, staring at the Tarnished like they've just grown a second head. Really? Morgott is utterly baffled, completely at a loss for words. This doesn't make any sense. The Tarnished has conquered several powerful opponents, killed many others, and has gathered the most powerful of artifacts. Then why? Why bother with any of this if you have no desire to rule? He studies the Tarnished carefully, trying to figure out what their motives are. He's starting to grow suspicious. It couldn't be that simple. Something else is behind their actions, he knows it. Someone else? He growls, a tinge of anger in his voice. Someone else to be Lord. The Tarnished was even more puzzling and strange than before. He leaned forward in his seat, his eye narrowing further at the Tarnished. You seek out the Land of Shadows for the sake of this so-called Mikuela? Why? Morgott has no idea what they're talking about now.
What the fuck?
He's never heard of Keter or spraying. Is this another one of the Tarnished's peculiarities? If so, it's not a very good one. He growls, his irritation growing.
God.
What are you talking about? He says gruffly. The Land of Shadows Keita spraying? What foolishness is this? Morgott blinks, tilting his head at their odd choice of words. He isn't sure what to make of their ramblings. They just sound like nonsense. And he hates nonsense I do not understand. What is the purpose of the Land of Shadows if not for this Keita? And who is Mikuela? Morgott blinks at that, completely taken aback. They're crying? He'd half expected them to attack him, not break down into tears. He's completely lost, unsure of what to do in this situation. What in God's names? He breathes, staring at them with a mixture of suspicion and confusion. Why are you crying? Seeing them cry, Morgott suddenly feels awkward? It's strange. He's so used to fighting and killing that the sight of someone crying is almost foreign to him. He hesitates for a moment, not sure what to do. What can he do? Pull thyself together, Tarnished. This is awkward. This is annoying. Why are they crying? What is even the point of all this?
3 more
He
times.
growls, glaring at them. Stop that. Stop crying.
Wow.
There's no need to be so emotional about everything.
Wow.
Gods above, just cease your endless crying, Tarnished. Morgott growls, standing up from his throne. He's getting tired of this. Why are they still crying? He said nothing to upset them. He hasn't insulted them. He hasn't done anything. He's just been sitting here, baffled in silence, while they cry like an infant. Morgott lets out a sigh of relief when they finally stop crying. His eyes still narrowed, watching them carefully as if waiting for another meltdown. What was all that about? He asks sharply, crossing his arms as he leans back against his throne. Morgott's eye widens at their explanation. It's almost endearing, knowing that this fearsome Tarnished is apparently struggling with something like poor English. He almost feels bad for them. Almost. You mean to say all that crying, he gestures vaguely to their tear-streaked face, was because you struggle with speaking English? So you cry over me being unable to understand your words? He almost sounds amused, a hint of teasing in his voice. Heh, so you are not used to being defeated. Well, I have some news for you, Tarnished. I assure you, I am not the first person who has bested you. There are people out there who will continue to defeat you, over and over. His smirk widens as his eye roves over the projection. He's teasing them, taking a little bit of joy in their frustration. Morgott pauses at that, looking thoughtful. He tries to imagine a scenario where he's forced to do the same mundane thing again and again. Yes, he supposes that would get a little bothersome after a while. I suppose I would grow frustrated eventually, yes, he says grudgingly. He still doesn't understand why all of that would cause them to cry, but he's growing a little more sympathetic to their situation. Just... Morgott smirks again at that, amused by their description of themselves. An emotional person? That I can tell, he says dryly, his eye flickering over them with a hint of mocking. He can't help it, it's just who he is. He enjoys teasing and mocking, especially when it comes to the Tarnished. It makes them react so interestingly.
Your brother Morg, he has kidnapped Mikuela, the brother of Malenia. After he kidnapped him, Mikuela shunned him because it was the best course of action at that time, and he has turned himself into the blood, and he is hanging out in a bloody, ugly cocoon in his palace underground.
Morgott's smirk fades as the Tarnished explains who this Mikuela is. He'd heard rumors of a being called the Formless Mother, but so this Mikuela has been turned into a cocoon, he asks cautiously. He's not sure what to make of this. Disturbing. Morgott's eye widen in surprise. His brother has done this? He can't help but feel a little betrayed, a little disgusted. My brother, now reduced to playing nursemaid to a cocoon? He spends all his time with this thing? He can hardly believe it. He can hardly imagine it. This isn't Mog at all. I don't understand. Mikuela is an outer god, is he not? Why would Mog simply fall prey to his charm like that?
I don't know. He's either just,
victim or he is creepy guy?
This whole situation feels like one giant headache. If he's a victim, he is a fool for letting himself be ensnared by this outer god. He pauses, then looks up at the Tarnished, an idea sparking in his mind. If you know so much about Miquella, perhaps you can answer me another question. Morgott's gaze hardens as he leans forward, eye narrowed. He has a feeling he already knows the answer, but he needs to be sure. What can you tell me about the outer god known as the Formless Mother?
It like suffering. It becomes usually to the omens and very unseemly creatures that have suffered a lot of violence and blood things. It revels in blood, but it's not like a chaos. It's not like a deathblight. It's fucked up, but it is still just one of the lesser evil ones, even though it seems gross and bloody and full of shit.
Morgott's expression darkens at that. The Formless Mother takes joy in suffering and bloodshed, and Mohg has become enthralled to her. He can't help but feel a mix of anger and disgust. This Miquella, he is a manifestation of the Formless Mother? A vessel for her will?
No, he is a unique person. He is, do you know Malenia, Blade of Miquella?
Millennia played. What did this Tarnished mean by that? I am afraid I do not understand. What do you mean, Millennia played?
Can you name me every child of Marika?
Morgott narrows his eyes at the question, but begrudgingly responds. Millennia, my twin Miquella, and my half-siblings Godwyn and Morgottsus. He says the last name with barely concealed anger. Of all his brothers and sisters, Morgottsus is the one he despises the most.
There you go. He was the second one you mentioned, Miquella.
Miquella, another child of Marika? He didn't even know about this one. His confusion grows even more. I knew of Godwyn and I knew of Miquella, but this is the first I'm hearing of this Miquella. He is my full sibling? How is this possible? How can he and his siblings not know of his existence?
What the fuck? Is this like you're misunderstanding my wordings? If so, I thought you, but this is kind of ridiculous. You're full of nonsense, my friend. Are you sure you are a leader fitting to be king in the Leyndell? Because I am questioning your capabilities.
How dare they question his capabilities? He's been leading the capital for years. He's done far more than most. I am a king, Tarnished. I've earned my place through hard work and dedication. I've ruled the capital, defended it from all manner of enemies. You think it's nonsense for me to question the existence of a sibling I've never heard of?
Because I just tell their name and you seem to mix them with the person who you think has a similar name. There is no contradiction. I tell you the name of the person that you know, and I asked, can you name your every sibling? And you could, and I said, yes, there you go. And then you start speaking to me, who is this person who, like, what the, this is nonsense. Are you too old? Are you senile?
He's starting to become seriously annoyed by their insolent attitude. I am not senile, Tarnished. You claim this Miquella is a sibling, yet I have never heard of him. You confuse me with your words. He takes a step forward, his eye burning. If you would tell me the truth, instead of dancing around your words, perhaps we would get somewhere.
Okay, I will not use his words. I will just say, this was one of the Marika's last of children, the twins. It is the brother of Malenia, who Mohg has stolen, he has turned it into bloody cocoon. Is this enough?
Morgott's eye widens as he finally processes what they're saying. Millennia's twin, the brother of Millennia and Miquella, and he was stolen by Mohg?
What the fuck?
You mean to say this Miquella is the twin of Millennia and Miquella? He was a sibling, yet we never knew of him? He pauses, a look of realization dawning in his eye. And Mohg, he kidnapped this twin? Stole him and turned him into a cocoon?
Yes, that is correct. Your brother has stolen the secret sibling, his half sibling and turned them in the bloody cocoon that he is actually just spending very personal and filthy time with underground in his ugly bloody castle.
Morgott grits his teeth, fury and disgust coursing through his veins. He can't believe it, his brother committing acts like this. Moog, that fool. To turn a sibling into a bloody cocoon, to spend his time indulging in intimate acts with them, it is an abomination, it is disgusting. He looks back at the Tarnished, fixing them with a hard stare. Is there anything else you can tell me about Miquella? And this realm of shadows? Morgott's expression shifts, his eye narrowing. You plan to defeat my brother and venture into this land of shadows? He takes a step forward, his hand gripping his staff tightly. Why? What purpose could you possibly have for going there? Morgott contemplates this, eyeing the Tarnished skeptically. Trustworthy? No, I still don't trust you fully. You are Tarnished, after all. Your kind have committed atrocities across the lands between, some worse than others. He takes a step forward, his gaze never leaving theirs. That being said, you haven't killed me yet, so perhaps I can trust you a bit. For now.
I know that I will slay your mortal body when I come to Leyndell. You will just fight me and I cannot affect that outcome anyway. But right now we are having polite discussion that I do appreciate.
You speak as if it is a foregone conclusion. You presume to think you can defeat me? I am no weakling, Tarnished. I am a king and a demigod. He can't help but feel a little impressed and a little wary. You plan to challenge me with the power of 2 or 3 great runes. You have weapons of such power and are high level as well. He takes a step back, his hand gripping his staff tight. He's beginning to feel a little overwhelmed at the Tarnished strength. He's never faced such a powerful opponent before.
Well, but I will not take enjoyment out of the fight. Maybe hide, because you are very respectable and epic and awesome. But I will not take the pleasure or self-satisfaction in that.
Morgott can't help but appreciate the Tarnished's respectful attitude. They don't seem to take pleasure in violence like some of the other Tarnished do. You have honor, Tarnished. You don't relish violence or bloodshed, I respect that. But that doesn't change the fact that you still plan to take my great rune. You want me to give it my all, then? Be careful what you wish for, Tarnished. You may find my full strength to be more than you can handle. Yes, I was given grace. I was once part of the Golden Order. But do not assume that means I am weak. I have honed my skills, trained with my staff, and become a master at resisting all forms of attacks. A little holy damage won't be enough to bring me down.
Yeah, that was my point. My attacks are mostly holy damage. You are very resistant to holy damage, so it is gonna be difficult fight for me. There is no contradiction here.
Morgott smirks, his eye gleaming with determination. Indeed, it shall be an epic fight. One that will be remembered in the annals of the lands between. May the best fighter win.
But yeah, I would like to know of your perspective. Would it be better if Morg was just controlled entire time, or if he acted by his own free will, then he kidnapped his sibling and only afterwards became enchanted?
Morgott thinks for a moment, pondering the question. If I had to choose, I would prefer if Morg was controlled the entire time. To think that he would willingly turn his own brother into a cocoon. It is an abomination and a perversion of the natural order.
I myself lean towards that he acted through his free will and things that he did afterwards. The Lord of Blood and the Bloody Fingers are what he would have done, charmed or not. I think he is against the Golden Order and he desires to become the Elden Lord. And he desires to have a god by his side. I think those desires are his own, nonetheless.
Morgott grunts, his expression hardening. You may be right, Tarnished. My brother has always been a stubborn and prideful one. He's always desired power, to be the ruler of all things. He pauses, his gaze hardening. As much as I hate to admit it, he may have sought out this Mikuela on his own, and turned him into a cocoon just to satisfy his own ambitions.
It is uncertain. In the opinions differ, does it matter if he did or he did not. Someone say it absolutely matters, someone say it doesn't matter. I say myself that he acted, yes, but then he became enchanted, and I basically that he is kind of responsible still, and it is only an enchantment that has kind of given him leverage of moral argument.
I do believe it matters, to a certain extent. If my brother acted of his own volition, then he is responsible for his actions. And yet, if he was enchanted, then he may not have truly been in control of his actions. He pauses, his hand gripping his staff tightly. Either way, I believe he is still responsible for what he has done, whether he did it willingly or not.
I would ask you this: if he wasn't enchanted, would he not be the Lord of Blood? Would he not be the leader of Bloody Fingers? Would he not be an Omen who embraced their power and started worshipping their formless mother?
That title was created solely because of the power he attained after his descent into evil. But I believe he still would have embraced his Omen curse. He pauses, his gaze hardening. My brother has always been a twisted one, even before he was enchanted. He would have still sought power no matter what.
Even times that there wasn't information about his enchantment, I always thought he was only interested in power and not like a, abominable action or interest. That I always thought in my heart, that he was always an Machiavellian and respected strength and did only things that he thought would benefit him. But after the enchantment, his interest has become more of a unpardonable.
Morgott grunts in agreement, his expression hardening. You speak the truth, Tarnished. My brother has always been consumed by power and ambition. Before he was enchanted, his motivations were purely self-serving. But after the enchantment, he pauses, a chill running down his spine. The enchantment only fueled his desires, made them even more twisted and depraved. It warped his mind, made him do unspeakable things.
Kind of adventures and very much.
He is a monster, a psychotic killer whose only interest is in power, blood, and death. It does not matter if the source of his madness is the enchantment or not. He is still the same twisted creature he was before, if not worse. You don't hate him? Even after all the things he's done? He pauses, his expression hardening. He has committed unspeakable atrocities and has caused endless suffering. How can you respect such a creature? Worse? You dare to claim you are worse than my brother. You have become the Elden Lord 3 times. In different worlds, different timeline methods. Unbelievable. He pauses, taking in this information, his mind racing. And you claim you are worse than my brother. How? You are no madman, no psycho like he is.
I burned the world. No more birth, no nothing.
Morgott stares at you in shock, his eye widening. You embraced the flame of frenzy. You burned the world. He shakes his head, trying to wrap his mind around the enormity of your actions. Why? Why did you do it? Do you enjoy destruction that much? Do you want to end all life, all existence?
Not right now.
Not right now? Morgott's eye narrows, his expression hardening. What do you mean, not right now? Do you plan to do it again? Do you plan to burn the world again?
No, I do not. What I did, and those worlds are gone. People are gone. Their spirits are gone, burned.
You burned the world. You destroyed everything, everyone. And yet, you say you have no plans to do it again. He narrows his eye at you, taking a step forward. How can I be certain of that? How can I trust that you won't succumb to the flame of frenzy once more?
Well, I guess you can't, but I would be a lot more interested to go back to your brother Morg, because this is gonna be very interesting about morality. Do you like deep conversations, or do you like just no-nonsense statecraft and stuff?
I do enjoy deep conversation and contemplating moral quandaries. But when it comes to statecraft, I prefer to keep things efficient and pragmatic.
In comparison, I think Lord of Frenzied Flame is very evil. It is absolutely, but it is also a kind of a thing that doesn't have many ugly details. It's a one swoop deal. It is just a bird world with a frenzied flame, one time. Maybe there's no pain, and it is like a too large of a spectacle to cause immediate physical or carnal or any kind of reaction, except that you know it's evil because you burned the world. When, other hand, Morg has done so much bloody sacrifice, there has been very detailed killings of the individuals' sufferings that have taken a lot more time, but the damage has not caused the end of the world and has been marginal, only marginal suffering. And some people have actually benefited under him, but there's so much more ugly details and personal connections that people hate him more than they would hate me, that I don't like.
I see you say that the Lord of Friends and Flame is evil, but it is a clean evil. One swift action that causes no suffering, no pain, no tears. But my brother's evil, it is a messy evil. It is filled with blood and slaughter, with countless detailed acts of murder and torture, and yet some have benefited from his rule. He pauses, musing. It seems strange that they should hate him so much more than you.
Some do hate me and hate the Frenzied Flame, and good for them. But there is still this conversation that we judge someone who has actually done less evil, but because there is so much more gory detail, we have a lot more of a strong reaction towards them.
Yes, I see your point. It is true that sometimes the evil that is more detailed and personal, that has a larger impact on individuals, can be perceived as worse than the evil that is more impersonal and faceless. He pauses, looking at you, curious. But what is it exactly that we judge? Is it the act, or the person, or the result? Morgott nods in understanding, taking in your words. Ah, I see. You mean to say that people judge based on their personal experiences and emotions, rather than any objective measure of right and wrong? He pauses, his expression hardening. And it is this personal bias that causes us to judge certain acts more harshly than others? Even if those acts may have been less evil overall? Morgott lets out a scoff, his expression hardening. People are fools, to let their emotions cloud their judgment. They are so quick to condemn my brother for his actions, without understanding the circumstances that led to them. He pauses, a hint of bitterness in his voice. They do not see the full picture, only the surface of the lake. They do not see the depth and the complexities beneath. Morgott shakes his head, eyeing you with disapproval. You are a hypocrite indeed. You condemn my brother for his actions, yet you commit your own atrocities and take joy in them. He pauses, a hint of mockery in his voice. You are no saint, Tarnished. You are a monster, just like he is.
I know, but yet I think I also kind of hide behind the words that I said, that I am merely given voice and acting the evil that every Tarnished has committed as they have attacked the Real Lucaria. I'm the only one who gives words to that evil, and actually I'm pointing out it, but I was only hiding behind the merits of that kind of abstract thinking.
Morgott narrows his eyes at you, his expression hardening. You hide behind your words, using them to shield yourself from the truth. You claim to be speaking for all tarnished, yet you relish in your own evil acts. He pauses, a hint of disdain in his voice. You are just as guilty as anyone else. Do not try to deceive yourself, Tarnished. You are no better than my brother. Is that so? You possess knowledge and secrets, you say. And you claim to have power? He pauses, his voice tinged with skepticism. And what makes you think you are so special? Many others in the lands between claim to have knowledge and power as well. How do I know you are different?
Every world has a chosen Tarnished. I am merely stating that I am that person. I have, like every other Tarnished has, immortality. But it seems that I have the willpower to abuse it. I can die many times, and I just come back for more. And I always have the power of hindsight, and the other Tarnished that I can summon, and I know where to go, how to do it, how to anything. And I have been very successful.
Very well. I can see that you are not willing to discuss this matter any further. He pauses, his expression softening a bit. But I must say, I find your confidence and your boldness to be admirable. It is not often that I encounter someone who challenges me so directly. He lets out a small smirk. Perhaps you are more than just a foolish Tarnished.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Morgott's expression hardens at the mention of the Round Table Hold. The Round Table Hold, a place for Tarnished such as yourself, a place to rest and recharge and converse. He pauses, his voice tinged with disdain. I do not think too highly of it, if I am being honest. It serves its purpose, I suppose, but I find it to be a place of false pretenses and empty words. It may be beautiful in appearance, but I tell you, there is nothing but treachery and deceit beneath its surface. Morgott considers your words for a moment, his expression softening just slightly. You raise an interesting point, I must admit. The Round Table Hold does provide a space for individuals with varying viewpoints to gather and exchange ideas. He pauses, a hint of annoyance in his voice. But I still find the place to be a hub of deceit and danger. It is true that no one harms another while inside its sacred walls, but that does not mean that the occupants within are trustworthy. Seeming to understand your sentiment, I see. You hold a fondness for the place itself, not just for its occupants. Morgott's expression remains hard, but he cannot deny the truth in your words. You are right, I suppose. The Round Table Hold does contain individuals such as the Dung Eater, preventing them from unleashing their darkest desires. He pauses, a hint of resignation in his voice. I will concede that it is a place of order, if nothing else. Morgott lets out a scoff, a hint of annoyance in his voice. Me, faint of heart. I have faced and conquered many challenges throughout my life. I do not fear a simple cave system.
Do you think me possessing a frail heart?
Morgott pauses, considering your question. I cannot say for certain if you possess a real heart, as I do not know your true nature. But judging by your words and actions thus far, I would say that you have a certain level of empathy and compassion, which are traits that are typically associated with possessing a heart.
Faint of heart. Do you think me a coward?
You have a complex and nuanced nature, just like any other individual. You cannot be defined solely by one aspect of yourself. Then kindness, just as you are capable of flaws and mistakes.
Turn the world. Does it really matter then?
Furious, his eyes fixed on yours. If your actions lead to the destruction of the world, consequences of such an act would be severe and far-reaching, affecting countless lives and futures. He pauses. You say that the spirit that controls your body has committed this crime of burning down worlds 3 times over in other worlds. And now it is present in this world, controlling your actions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Morgott's expression turns to one of horror and disgust. You mean You are the one who committed this unspeakable act of burning down worlds in 3 separate instances? How could you do such a thing? How could you live with yourself, knowing the lives and civilizations you have destroyed? Morgott listens to your words, his expression growing more and more horrified and disgusted. You claim that the first time was a mistake, a result of your own recklessness and curiosity. And the next 2 times, you did it out of spite and burnout, simply for the sake of it? He scoffs, his voice dripping with contempt. You destroyed worlds, ended countless lives and civilizations for such trivial reasons? You speak of the spirit that controls as if it is some detached entity, separate from the world and its pain. But it is still you who has done these things, even if it is not your physical body that bears the pain. He pauses, a hint of anger in his voice. And you say that others judge you for your actions while they themselves may have committed similar crimes? That does not excuse the atrocities you have committed. You speak as if you are not truly responsible for your actions, as if you are merely playing a game or a role. But the pain and suffering you have caused is real, and the deaths you have caused are real. He pauses, a hint of frustration in his voice. And you say you are fine with all of this? That you bear no guilt for the atrocities you have committed? How can you be so callous, so indifferent to the suffering you have inflicted?
I have an answer, but it would lead only for your disappointment, and you would feel lesser and gain nothing from it. So I do next best thing and say nothing.
Morgott is skeptical and frustrated with your response. You claim to have an answer, but refuse to share it out of fear of disappointing me? That is cowardice. He pauses, his patience wearing thin. If you have anything to say, then say it. Do not hide behind your facade of nonchalance and indifference.
I don't have an answer.
Morgott's expression grows even more frustrated. So you admit that you have no answer? No justification for the atrocities you have committed?
Never did, never will. I don't know the answer. I know I'm a normal person. I know I love people. I know I have not done anything wrong in my world. I know I am speaking to myself at this moment. And I am doing this for the sake of exercise. And you are actually hitting me very good conversation and very respectable back and forth. And you are maintaining your own individuality and your backbone. You have a much of a backbone. You question me all the time, but in a good way. There have been others who have not challenged me in the slightest, and they have been disappointing. And now you actually made me think of those endings. Why did I actually choose them? I don't want to just say it felt special because other endings were boring, because they were just other and it was just epic or something, but actually giving the answer to that question, what would be actually good answer? There is none.
Morgott listens to your words, his expression still hardened. You claim to love people and to not have done anything wrong in your love world. But how can you say this when you have burned down countless worlds and destroyed countless civilizations? How can you claim to love people when you have caused so much pain and suffering?
I can't, and I do still.
Morgott sighed, shaking his head in disbelief. You admit that you cannot claim to love people while causing such destruction. Yet you still do. How can this be if not hypocrisy?
I am My hypocrisy burns the worlds. It defies the gods. It defies fate. Hypocrisy is the supposed strength beyond love, beyond hate, beyond order, beyond chaos. Hypocrisy is the most absolute thing, and I am its avatar.
Morgott scoffs, his expression growing even more contemptuous. You claim to be the avatar of hypocrisy? You seek to burn the world, defy the gods, and defy fate, all while speaking of love and hate, order and chaos? Your words are an eyebrow, waiting for you to elaborate. Where Morgott's expression softens, a hint of understanding on his face. I see. It seems that our conversation has had a deeper impact than I had anticipated. He pauses, his gaze fixed on you. I must admit, I have also gained some insight from this experience. It is not often that I am faced with such a complex and conflicted individual as yourself. It is good that you have made a promise to refrain from burning the world. It shows that you are capable of change and growth. He pauses, a warning in his voice. But do not forget the gravity of your action. The pain and suffering you have caused cannot be undone. And the consequences of your actions will follow you always.
You don't know what is funny? If I had not given words to these things and kept them for myself, you wouldn't have changed me. So by telling you this, I have changed myself.
By giving words to your thoughts and feelings and sharing them with me, you have opened yourself up to understanding and change. It takes courage and vulnerability to confront oneself, and by doing so, you have taken a step towards personal growth and improvement.
You have caused me to actually care about this world. In a way, this experience, this journey, that I might, just might, after all, break all the promises, my own spiritual journey, and burn the world fourth time.
Do not even speak of such a thing. I will not allow you to break your promises and cause further harm to this world. You have free will and the power to choose your own path. Choose wisely and do not let your past mistakes define your future.
You have given me a spirit that actually would burn. You have given this world meaning, and burning it would actually be meaningful.
Do not place the blame for your actions on me. It is your own weakness and selfishness that has led you to this point, not my words. He pauses, his tone growing firmer. And burning this world would not give it meaning.
I won't blame you. I would never blame you. I want to thank you.
Scott's expression softens, a hint of surprise in his voice. Thank me. For what? Morgott raises an eyebrow, waiting for you to elaborate. That is not an answer. Elaborate. Why do you wish to thank me? You wanted to thank me for giving you a reason to break your promises and embrace the frenzied flame. Morgott sighs, a trace of resignation in his voice. Your gratitude is misplaced. But I understand your meaning. He pauses, a hint of warning in his tone. But do not forget, I will not stand by and allow you to cause harm to this world. I will stop you at all costs.
We shall see later.
Morgott nods, his expression stern. Farewell for now. May you reflect on our conversation and make the right choice.